Hello guys and gals, animal friends and spirit pals. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in again today. I really appreciate you, especially you regular viewers and people who push the like button and regular subscribers. You don't know how much that helps me out and helps my videos out and helps Pan and Djwhal Khul get their message out to more people. That's really one of the few ways I can get my videos to reach other people is by you guys pushing the like and subscribe button. And I really appreciate every single one of you that do it. Now you know you're going to like this video, so you might as well go ahead and push that like button so you don't forget at the end. I know how hard it is to remember because I'm always remembering to push like buttons for other people's videos and sometimes I forget. Okay, this is an animal tell video. Buttercup, now I'm telling you, you're not going to bark during this whole video. And I don't want to tell you again. I've already had to start this video now like 5 times because of her barking every single time it gets started. It's getting to be just a little bit over the top. Be good, please. Let me do this video. Thank you very much. We have a bunch of puppies across the street and they're all barking and whining, and of course that gets her stirred up. I love her, but I have to be forceful sometimes to get her to be quiet. She loves to talk. She hardly ever has a thought that she doesn't like to express, whereas my other dog, the big white shepherd, rarely says a thing. They're just the opposite in that way. Anyway, where was I? Okay, we're talking about an animal tale. Now, this animal is one I met while doing a reading. So it wasn't an animal I met at the zoo, but yeah, when I was doing a private session, and it was a private session that I traveled to, and a reading I was doing with Pan for this animal. Before I get started with that, though, I wanted to let you guys know, when I was a kid, both sets of my grandparents had big farms here in Kentucky. They grew tobacco, because back when I was a kid, that was a big crop. In a way, a lot of people in Kentucky made their money. Of course, they don't have that anymore, which means even more poverty here in this state. But they also had big farms with vegetables and gardens, and, they had creeks and forest and lots of animals, cows and horses and goats and pigs and chickens and ducks and dogs and cats and lots of things like that. And and I loved spending time on both farms, and so did my brother and I that was 2 years younger. Every year we used to go to each grandparents for a couple of weeks in the summer and spend there and just had a blast. But growing up on the farm, I did develop a little bit of a fear of birds, kind of a big fear, and of chickens in particular. My one grandmother had lots of chickens, and she always had a few roosters. And hers always seemed to be the most aggressive roosters that you ever saw. So they would chase you down and try to get you with their claw, like gar you and cut you. And they were very aggressive and not afraid of anything. And so I didn't really like them because they would literally chase you down. And then once when I was about 6 at my other grandmother's house, who didn't have mean roosters, but she did have a lot of chickens and, raised her own eggs and stuff. And I was there with her once, and she went out to gather in the eggs to bring them in from the hen house. And I went out with her. I didn't go in the hen house. I stood outside because, again, I was too afraid of chickens to go in those houses with them. And so she was gathering the eggs, and one hen inside was sitting on a nest, which meant, she was trying to hatch little chicks. And my grandmother startled her, so she flew up and out the hen house window. It had these windows in it. And she landed right in my face. And of course, she was freaked out. I was freaked out. I was about 6. And in an effort to get off of me and away from me, she scratched my face all up. So I was a big bloody mess covered in face scratches. And I was horrified, screaming, crying. I thought, something was murdering me. And it was a pretty dramatic event. Later, when I met Pan, and I was talking to him about different, this is before I became a zookeeper or anything, but I talked to him about, being afraid of birds, and I would like to not be afraid of birds. The other kind of fear I ever had was snakes, and that's just because on the farm, snakes weren't popular. You killed them, and everybody was afraid of them. So I also had a little bit of fear of them. Not quite as much as birds, but I wasn't going to walk up to a snake or anything. So I talked to him about that, and he said, that a lot of people had different fears of different animals, and that we'd work through that and it wouldn't be a problem. And so as time went on, there would be times where the earth, Pan, the universe, would send those animals in particular that I had a fear of right up to me to experience them and have an interaction with them. So this one time I got a call from this Hollywood actress. Now, I also wanted to say, when I was a kid, I loved Alfred Hitchcock movies. I just thought he was a master director. His movies are always so suspenseful and good, and I really liked them. And if by some reason you haven't seen any, you should watch them. But one of the most scary to me was The Birds, because of my whole bird thing. And I just thought it was horrifying. So I also had that. And in The Birds starred a beautiful woman named Tippi Hedren. And one day I got a call from Tippi Hedren asking me, because she had heard by word of mouth that I did animal readings. And she asked if I could come out to her place and do a reading for a lion, a little young lion she had there. Now, Tippi had started a rescue place for exotic animals, mostly big cats, tigers, lions, leopards, but she also had elephants and other animals there, small cats too, that she cared for. She had done a movie a long time ago that had elephants, and she fell in love and really fell in love with animals. And so even to this day, she still does a lot of work helping animals. And she's also the mother of Melanie Griffith, who's also an actress, who's done a lot of movies, and you might have heard of her too. But I was pretty excited. My degree's in drama and theater, and I love acting in the movies and all that. And I was really excited that Tippi Hedren had heard of me, and plus she was in one of my favorite all-time movies, The Birds, even though that scared me, but still I loved her. She's like iconic. And I was really excited. And plus to be able to go to her place, Shambala, to visit this animal refuge place that I'd heard of and was excited to go visit. So I got Pan and me, and we went out there. It was a bit of a drive from where I lived. And when we got there, and I was waiting for Tippi to have some time to talk to me and, to take me to the lion and all that, I had time to look around her place, and some people that, she had people that worked there, and they took me around to meet some of the animals and stuff. And she had a big, giant parrot that lived there, and he was loose. His wings were clipped so he couldn't fly, but he stayed on a big perch, loose, and he was a big Amazon, beautiful, blue and gold. I'll put a picture of him on the video, in the front of the video. It'll be a picture of me and him. I never can think what you call those. The little photo you put there. Anyway, that's him. And he was there, and I right away got a feeling, this bird is awfully interested in me. And when I walked up, he immediately put his arm out like he wanted me to take him and hold him. And I'm afraid of birds. And the person that worked there said, oh no, if he offers to go to you, then he wants you to hold him, and he'll be nice. And I was like, oh. So I gave him my arm, and of course he immediately climbed right on up to me, came right up my shoulder, and then started to clean my ears and my hair and pick and with his giant old beak, pick all over me, and just loved me to pieces, and he's as sweet as he could be. So again, it was like the earth and the universe and the birds giving me an example of a lovely bird and how much fun it was. And of course, I liked him a lot. And he hung out with me for quite a while, for like 20 minutes, and until I had to like let the person take him, because he was like just going to stay with me, I guess, forever. Put him back on his perch because Miss Hedren had come to take me to the lion cub. So then they took me back in the back, and there was a lion. I'm going to say he was like pre-teenage. He wasn't a baby, but he wasn't a teenager. He's still a youngster, And he was very upset. He was pacing and kind of throwing his hair and chuffing and just not acting like a happy kitty, right off. And she wanted to know if I could talk to him and find out what was wrong with him and why he was so upset. So I sat down outside of his cage and centered myself and called Pan in and, introduced ourselves to him. And he just kept saying over and over, it's the only thing I could get him to tell me, I miss my dog, I want my dog, I miss my dog, which seemed like an odd thing. And I was still kind of used, and this is the first time I ever went to a celebrity to do a reading, so I was a little nervous. And I'm hearing this thinking, well, that's weird. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a dog. And why won't he say anything else? And that's just an odd thing. And, I'm with Pan, always having this inner dialogue with Pan, like, well, that seems like that's not true. Or are we sure this is what he's saying? And Pan going, and that's it. That's what he wants to say. So I tell her, oh, well, the only thing he's saying, he's really upset. He wants his dog. Where's his dog? He misses his dog. And I'm thinking maybe he had a stuffed toy or something. And she went, oh, no. Well, he was raised with a pup. And they grew up together. And then when he moved here, the dog stayed with the owners and he came by himself. And I was going, oh, well, he misses his dog and he wants his dog. And he was really upset. They were separated. They were very bonded. And to him, it was like bonding with another lion. That was his buddy. And so I don't know what happened. I don't think they were able to get the dog and bring it to him. And she never called to let me know what came of that. And really, that was about all he would share with me, which, I could tell that was a little distressing. And she right away got it and thought, oh, ew. And she also thought, how would I even know that unless it came through, unless the lion told me. So it was good as far as that went. And plus it was good for me in my own sense of doing this work for others, because there was still part of me of like, oh, what if we don't give them the correct information? I really only want to do this if it helps and serves people. And, I'm still nervous about it. Pan's really secure and everything, but I'm not so much, and we're doing this together, and I still need some encouragement and really more proof that this weird adventure that I'm on, that I don't know anybody else taking, is real and that it's working. And I know that's why that happened. And also it's kind of a little, the universe's sense of humor to send me some actress that I was really well aware of, and that that movie that stood out to me, and also my fear of birds, and then this interaction, and lo and behold, there's this big parrot that wants to be my friend there. And all of that goes beyond coincidence into the universe playing with me. Buttercup? Boy, she's making this one hard. But I'm not starting it again. We're just going. Now, a little, a postscript to this story is, my partner and I lived in West Hollywood at that time, and we lived in this house, and then upstairs there was an apartment on the top of the house. So it was like a duplex, and the apartment had a separate entrance and everything, and we hardly ever saw that guy. He was a nice guy. He was a hairdresser to the stars, and we knew him and everything. But one day, Tippi Hedren's daughter, Melanie, came there for her to his house to get her hair done instead of to his shop, and which is also our house. Now I was at work and missed this experience, but my partner was there, and she brought a tiger cub with her. And my partner was a massage therapist, and Melanie was pregnant, very pregnant with her. I think it was her second child, and with the tiger cub. So Don ended up giving her a massage and playing with the tiger. And then, of course, when I got home, he was just all so thrilled because the tiger cub, and who wouldn't be? And this was before I ever became an animal keeper, but I was really jealous and everything of his experience with the tiger cub, plus Melanie Griffith. And, years later, I ended up helping to raise 2 baby tigers, so I eventually got to have my own tiger cubs. My own experience with tiger cubs. They weren't mine personally. But anyway, another little weird way the universe works and ties things together and wraps things up so that when you think about them, you realize there was some purpose to them. It wasn't just coincidental and happenstance. It was a little too coincidental. So, I share these stories too so that you can see how working with spirit, and this is the way I did it, can be of service to people and to animals. At least I believe that. And I only share these stories hoping to encourage others to have those stories or ones like them or completely different from mine, but just your own stories with spirit, and create them and find them and live them and love them. That's why I share this story. Okay, guys, I hope you liked that. It was a little bit scattered because my little Missy constantly wanting to bark, but I hope it was okay. Okay, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Love and joy to you all.